Daniel, we talk a lot about defense in depth on our programming. You talk about dealing with the right risk at the right time in a defense in depth program. Explain what you mean by that.
So clearly, the key for doing properly defense in depth is prioritization. Just like you mentioned, addressing the most relevant risks at the right time. Imagine that you have an organization which spends all of its time and budget on minor vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, more serious risks like misconfigurations in cloud environments, outdated encryption protocols, etc., all of those are left unaddressed. The result? Resources are misallocated, critical weaknesses are left to be exposed, and the company is in a far more vulnerable position than it actually realizes.
A proactive defense in depth is taking what essentially is your defense in depth program, whatever that may be, whatever the number of layers you may have, but allowing you to see that moving threat environment on top of it. I'd love to hear about an example.
So through our advanced threat intelligence and our machine learning models, we can assess risks dynamically as the environment evolves. This means that instead of just reacting after an attack has happened, organizations now have the possibility to proactively manage risk as that risk emerges. Whether it's defending against a zero-day attack, preventing lateral movement, we are trying to ensure that the entire ecosystem is secured and all of those risks are presented in a prioritized manner. Why? To try and tip the scale in favor of proactive work instead of just doing reactive work.
Well, reactive work can get exhausting and it'll burn out your SOC for that matter. And if you're dealing with things proactively, it's done on your time rather than on the attacker's time, right?
Absolutely. And think of it like this. The overall security philosophy should center on our ability and the organization's ability to adapt. That means that rather than just implementing like static defenses, we need to continuously monitor and to understand data in real time to be able to adjust that security posture. That is a whole lot of manual work that needs to be done by the security team. If the product is able to do it in such a way that it helps that security team and it frees them from their day-to-day burnout, as you mentioned, on everything that is reactive, that security team will first of all become more productive. They'll have time to proactively address all of the most relevant things that they need to address. And then at the end, they'll be able to also think about future strategies on how they can continuously improve their security posture.
Well, if you would like to try out something that others say it really works, why don't you go check out what they're doing over there at Bitdefender? Just go to their web address. It's right there, bitdefender.com.